What's up, fellow Predecessor enjoyers? Long time no see. It's been a minute since I made my last Predecessor video, but we're coming back to my roots after I started playing again. I've been having a blast messing around with the content from the last few updates, from Boris finally getting out of development in Purgatory. Along with the last OG Paragon hero, and my personal favorite,
Wukong! Taste my staff!
It's hilarious watching the entire enemy team spamming everything they have to try and catch up to the monkey boy. With that being said, one of the major focuses of the last update was the ranked reset, marking the start of Predecessor's first season, and retracting up to 7 whole rank ladders from players. This means if you were Platinum 1 at the end of the season, you're going to start Season 1 as a Silver 2. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that are having a time adjusting to these changes. But I'm here today to help alleviate some of that frustration and dump all the knowledge that I've learned through the handful or so of games that I've played throughout the years since Predecessor's early access. Now, as a totally transparent disclaimer, I didn't actually reach Paragon last season, only climbing as high as Diamond 2 before taking a break because, hold on, let me get my book of excuses here. I got bad teammates, I only played ranked solo, bad ping, oh, and yeah. But, that being said, I have played with some of Predecessor's top dogs, and even held my own against them.
I literally did it right 5 times! You don't know how to even build! Don't even fucking type in my chat, you absolute bot! You are perma, you fucking dog shit player! Get the fuck out of here, you absolute bozo shitter! Get the you PTV in your name! Shut the fuck up! You absolute bot! Get the fuck out of.
So without blabbering on for too long, let's just jump right into the video. And if you end up liking it, please do the typical YouTube stuff to help keep my crusty old ass motivated to keep making these videos, because damn are they hard to do by myself. So speaking generally for these ranks, when I'm describing the players, I'm usually referring to the rank that they seem to be quote unquote stuck at, and I made sure to highlight the quotes in stuck. Because by using these techniques and mechanics that I'm going to describe throughout the video effectively, there's not really any reason that you should be quote-unquote stuck at any other rank besides maybe Diamond. I'll grant you a hall pass. And one final disclaimer, just so I don't get the salty Steve who feels attacked by I'm calling you out, nothing I say is necessarily meant to be negative. Play the game how you want. Even I, fully understanding the terrible decisions I'm about to make, still do them anyway for one reason or another, so don't beat yourself up and expect yourself to be playing at a certain level. So, bronze players. At the bottom of the barrel, scum of the earth. I've never seen such wretched villainy. Alright, maybe not that bad, but most bronze players are new to the game, and probably MOBAs in general. They probably have less than 100 games played and have no idea what anything does, and typically spam their abilities off cooldowns, miss 95% of them, and mid lane is a constant AMRAM with chimeras flying in all directions.
Boss?
How we playing this?
Nice and easy.
If they're not brand new, they're probably like 8 years old and just downloaded it while browsing the store because it's free, in which case, get off YouTube, delete TikTok, and do your homework before you die of brain rot, because there's no Subway Surfer footage in this video. So what does the average bronze player do to get out of bronze? I'd say there's probably 3 things most players do to elevate themselves into silver. The first one is to understand what your hero actually does, which, to be honest, if you don't even know what your hero does, you probably shouldn't be hopping into ranked games yet in the first place. But the second mechanic would be just general ability usage, not whiffing 90% of them, and obviously the more you can land, the more success you're going to have getting kills and clearing the waves faster. The third would be understanding the map and what the different buffs do, understanding how dangerous towers can be early, as well as how potent minion damage can be in the first few minutes. It honestly doesn't take much besides a very basic understanding of the game and a morsel of hand-eye coordination to get out of bronze, so let's move right along. So you finally slogged it out of the rank for the retirement home elders on their recreation time and burst into the promised land of silver. So it's all uphill from here, right? Right? Well, if you're in Silver, you've likely just started to grasp the basic understanding of the game, and you know who the strong heroes are and how to play at least one in every role. Hopefully. You're even starting to relive your primetime quickscoping days with the intervention in Black Ops 2 when you pick up Wraith for the first time. With a basic understanding of the game too, your competition isn't just running in a straight line at you, auto-attacking from 15 feet away with a melee hero. Again, at least I hope so. The fastest way to get out of Silver is going to be to start working on things like paying a little bit more attention to where you are on the map. Not just straight pushing to the enemy T2 with their whole team up. Some people might start thinking they're getting good and become overconfident, leading to detrimental progress in certain mechanics that you'll need later on. So don't get too ahead of yourself here if you're stomping over the competition. You're also going to need to work on things like understanding what your role is more and playing around it, as in not picking mortgage support and thinking it's a viable option because noobs don't know how to counter it. Again, this is a trait I've noticed a lot of people develop and carry into the higher ranks. Certain heroes play certain roles for a reason. The last thing you want to be focusing on is securing more minion last hits, and not just holding down your attack button, because this isn't Smite, so you actually have to make sure you're securing the minion kill when their health bar turns red. This is going to help you gain a power advantage over your opponent and make the rest of the game a little bit easier. And with these skills mastered, you should be ready to enter the biggest ranked shit show. Gold is where the majority of Predecessor's player base resides, and because of that, it gives us the widest variety of, dare I say, people. Most gold players get hard stuck here for a variety of reasons, but some of the main ones are, like I mentioned before, making sure you don't develop any of these other bad habits early and carry them into this rank with you. You'll want to start by being a little bit more active in your playstyle, start using your pings to call out when your opponent goes missing, rotate to other lanes a little bit more, but not too much as to where you're going to fall behind on farm. And also, if you're a jungler, you're going to want to start securing the objectives like Fangtooth and Orb Prime whenever they come up, and maybe if you're feeling really spicy, even getting a gank or two in before so you can make it easier. And then the last big thing people are going to want to do to start getting out of gold is to utilize your wards more and position yourself on the map. Because if you minimize the time that you're dead from avoidable mistakes, like getting a heads up when the jungler's coming to gank you, these will compound slowly and pull the game in your favor. Predecessor is a game that rewards patience and strategy, so you should also be taking the time to familiarize yourself with what every hero in the game can do, so that way you're prepared when you end up having to face them. Gold can be frustrating for a lot of people, but it's made much easier by just playing a little smarter and putting a little thought into every decision. Slowly take each opportunity the enemy gives you, and again, if you're putting in a little bit of everything you've learned so far into these actions, you should have little problem getting your way into the next rank where everyone thinks they're the best thing since Shrek 2.
Somebody once told me the world.
So, Platinum. Most of the people in Platinum are just now starting to caress the sweet embrace of getting good, but don't let that get to your head because you still have a lot to learn, young Padawan. Most casual players will probably hover around Platinum for the majority of the time they play Predecessor. They likely have exceptional mechanical skills and have nearly mastered at least one hero in every role. They've also experimented and can play pretty proficiently with most of the heroes in the game. This way they're going to be much more prepared for whatever the matchmaking throws at them. Expanding your utility and diversity in Platinum will be essential to your success in climbing. Don't be the guy that can only play solo or some other dumb excuse as you're playing ranked, and if you want to succeed, you need to be able to play every single role effectively.
Do you hear me, soldier?
The other thing that will help immensely with your climb is if you have a carry mentality no matter what role or hero you're playing. Most teams in Platinum still lack proper team-wide coordination, so Platinum has the unique situation where you really need to take the reins and carry your team to victory by yourself. Don't expect help from anyone and make decisions assuming that you won't get any help, because most of the time you won't, and maybe this sounds counterintuitive or like an insurmountable obstacle, but if you remove yourself from the mediocrity and play more than a few games a week, statistically, you're bound to get paired with just enough competent teammates that you can carry them over the finish line. It will be painful, there will be tears, there will be mic spam, and there will be out of manas being slung left and right, but you must push through. Use the in-game mute features to drown out their skill issues, focus on yourself, and you will achieve greatness. Welcome, brother, to the exclusive Mile High Club. You've done well on your journey so far, but what lies ahead is your final, most grueling test of patience, skill, and mental fortitude, the coveted Diamond rank. Here, Predecessor becomes not just a game, but another job. You need to be at the very peak of your mental acuity. You need to make Bradley Cooper and Limitless look like a fucking Neanderthal. The vast majority of the most fun and enjoyable games of Predecessor I've ever played were in Diamond, because at this rank, everyone is always on the same page, and we always knew what we were doing, so besides the occasional missing ping, there was little communication because we all knew what our jobs and responsibilities were. Like clockwork, you'd see things like the solo laner stealth backing and popping up in the jungle stairway, ready to ambush the enemy jungler who's coming to scope out Fangtooth. Only to get a one-way trip back to the fountain, because in Diamond, the team that makes the first one or two minor mistakes is going to end up getting snowballed on and losing. A player who's made it to Diamond but isn't satisfied and wants it all must perfect all of the previous mechanics mentioned and adapt a few of the new final, most important mechanics in the game. Micro and macro plays. Since nearly always you're going to be going against another player who's very well versed in nearly all aspects of the game, with fantastic mechanical skills and shroud level aim, what can you do at this point to get an edge up over your opponent? Because like I said before, all it takes in these matches is one minor mistake to potentially cost you the entire game 5 minutes in. This is where we shrink down even more to the next level of mechanical prowess. To clear up the definition, because I see a lot of people get confused over the terms micro and macro, a micro play is something that refers to your individual mechanical play. These are things like getting more last hits on minions than your opponent, landing skill shots, outsmiting your opponent on an objective, chaining CC on an opponent instead of dumping it all on them at the same time, etc. A macro play are the mechanics relating to the map and overall game as a whole. Things like tracking the objective and jungle camp timers, keeping track of the enemy positions and where they pop up on wards to get to fights or objectives. They get the name micro and macro because of the small action that you do, having a much bigger impact overall on the game. Many players in Platinum are probably executing these mechanics without realizing, since something as simple as responding to your jungler's call out to attack Fangtooth is considered a macro play. The last thing that needs to be said for Diamond rank is while objectives are important on all other ranks, in Diamond they will either make or break your game. Every single decision you make needs to revolve around securing that objective. You need to have a plan no matter what role you're playing, whether it's playing safer in duo before Fangtooth comes up to expect the gank, or setting up your wave in solo lane so that it can stay stationary before you back to help your team with the objective. Positioning yourself as a high impact hero like an ADC or mid is also very important because the enemy is going to be focusing you out of the fights as the priority, which means if you're not one of those heroes, you need to be doing everything you can to keep them alive. Using your abilities to either burst the attacker down or keep them off long enough so your teammate can get away. The coordination and precision the teams have to perform at to be crowned one of Predecessor's best players is exceptional at this rank, and only a few are going to be able to make it past. Well, soldier, you finally did it. Through all the 3-minute rage quits, through all the teammates throwing, and all the devastating counter ganks from the enemy that cost you countless games, you finally considered one of Predecessor's best players. You wake up every day with the blood of the thousands of thirsty Chimera players coursing through your veins, constantly making some of the most insane plays Predecessor has ever seen, seemingly defying what's developmentally possible. They remain mentally stable while their entire team is crumbling around them, executing their agenda with the force of 1,000 suns to wrangle everyone back together. Against all odds, you are the difference maker, and you have the mentality that you will 1v5 the entire enemy team if you have to. Although I wouldn't necessarily suggest that. These players are so in tune with the game, it's like watching the most majestic sunrise you've ever seen. Seeing them clear camps efficiently, land every single ability, and come up with playstyles that you've never even seen before. These players are truly majestic, the 1%, the exclusive billionaire club of Predecessor, reserved for the best of the best. Just know if you're playing against one of these players, any and every tiny mistake you make will cost you dearly. No matter where you are on the map or at what stage of the game, they're thinking 3 steps ahead of everybody else, and you should expect them to be everywhere, all with a looming map presence that forces everyone to acknowledge them. So there it is, My suggestion on which each rank needs to work on in order to climb to Paragon. If I had to quickly boil it down into a TLDR, I'd say the 3 most impactful skills are your decision making and staying alive, keeping a calm mental, and having a carry mindset no matter what. Don't rely on your teammate. If you follow these steps to a T, I can't see any reason why someone couldn't compete in Paragon. For myself personally, I've become a little more casual since my Paragon push, and even though I understand the mechanic, I'm not able to focus as much as I was before because of external factors like fatherhood and related things. No excuses, I just don't want to hear the snotty tryhard being like, how can you make a video like this if you haven't even been to Paragon? So with that, let me know your thoughts, and if you think I missed anything, I'm always looking to help new players and probably skipped over something important that slipped my mind, so any feedback is much appreciated. Let me know what you'd like to see on my channel going forward. I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of the day,